Two new studies released today show that recreational marijuana could help cut down on opioid addiction. Researchers found that states with legal medical marijuana had a 6% lower rate of opioid prescriptions. In states where recreational marijuana is permitted, including Massachusetts, opioid prescriptions dropped again by another 6%. The second study showed in areas with medical marijuana dispensaries, pharmacies filled out fewer opioid prescriptions. We're joined now by Dr. Mallika Marshall to talk more about this. And what do you think? Do you think this could really make a difference in terms of this ongoing horrible opioid crisis that we have in this country?
So these studies are certainly promising, although I say, more research needs to be done as usual. But it is a horrible crisis, and it's getting worse by the day. 90 Americans die every day from accidental opioid overdoses. It's overtaken car accidents and gun deaths as the leading cause of accidental death in young people. And so something needs to be done. Now, this probably isn't the only answer, but it certainly might help. Now, studies have shown that marijuana can help people with certain types of chronic pain. Again, we need more research to find out exactly what types of chronic pain and what types of conditions it can really help with and how it should be dispensed to people. But I think it's really encouraging if we can get people to put down their opioid prescriptions and grab something else to alleviate their pain. That's a good thing.
And one of the things that we should point out is that it was not just medical marijuana, it's legal marijuana, which we're showing here as well. Should people go out and if they're feeling pain, go get marijuana? We don't want to necessarily encourage that.
Right. So, marijuana does have its risks. A lot of people think it doesn't. And unfortunately, a lot of young people now think that it's totally fine and safe to go out and smoke marijuana. But it does have health risks, including it can affect brain development, especially in kids with developing brains. So we really do worry about marijuana use in children and teens. We don't know whether these changes are permanent, but it can affect memory and attention and learning. So we don't want our teenagers going out and thinking, my mom and dad are doing it, I might as well do it too, it's no big deal. So as a pediatrician, we have real serious concerns about young people sort of picking it up willy-nilly. But for the person who has a real medical condition and real pain, I think it's a suitable alternative.
I think people trust their doctors implicitly. For the longest time, people were told, you go to your doctor, he prescribes you opioids, and the doctors themselves were receiving research from these companies saying these things are safe, they're not addictive. And now there's this alternative that for the longest time we've been told is a gateway drug, it's much more dangerous. Does this seem like it's potentially a promising development if you're someone who advocates for medical use of marijuana down the line to say, maybe it's not quite as dangerous as opioids, it's not as physically addictive?
I do. I agree with that. For certain people, it certainly is a lot less concerning than sort of getting hooked on opioids. That said, people think marijuana isn't addictive, but about 9% of people who sort of experiment with marijuana will develop an addiction to marijuana. So that certainly is a possibility. Are there kids who might try marijuana and then decide to try cocaine or heroin down the road? Yes, although it doesn't seem to be sort of a big effect. But there are other things, not just marijuana, there are other things we need to do to try to curb this crisis. I mean, we as providers need to write fewer prescriptions. Dentists need to write fewer prescriptions. People need to be more responsible with their opioids at home and get rid of them once they're sort of done needing them and not allow them to get in the hands of friends or neighbors or people who are working in their homes. We need better sort of addiction treatment programs. So there are a lot of avenues that we need to take to try to get at this problem. Marijuana may be one of those.
We'll see. It might be one more. As you said, maybe more research needed down the line. Dr. Mallika Marshall, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
As always, find out much more here at CBSBoston.com.